The gift exchange. The massive view screen in the Galactic Embassy conference room flickered to life, displaying the crystalline form of Ambassador Theros. Even through the transmission, the alien's body sparkled like a living rainbow, each facet of his silicon-based structure refracting the artificial light of Europa Station. Captain Lisa Morgan straightened her dress uniform and checked her reflection one last time in the polished metal wall. This was it. After months of careful negotiations, Earth was finally establishing formal diplomatic relations with the Vorthak Federation. Remember, Ambassador Paul Harrison whispered to his team, the Vorthak value harmony and precision above all else. Every gesture, every word must be perfect. Dr. Marcus Webb, the team's xenobiologist, nodded nervously. In his arms, he cradled a special containment unit with climate control and air filters. Inside, 2 golden retriever puppies slept peacefully, their soft breathing creating tiny fog patches on the transparent aluminum walls. "Are you sure about the puppies?" Marcus asked, not for the first time. The Vorthak are silicon-based life forms. They might not understand mammalian companions. The cultural advisory team spent months on this decision, Paul replied. Dogs represent loyalty, friendship, and unconditional love. These are universal values. Besides, our translators confirmed the Vorthak have concepts for both companion and young. They'll understand the significance. The conference room doors slid open with a soft hiss. Theros entered with 2 other Vorthak delegates, their bodies creating soft musical tones as they moved. Lisa noticed how different they looked up close. While humanoid in basic shape, their bodies seemed carved from living crystal, with no visible joints or seams. Their eyes were multifaceted gems that somehow conveyed emotion despite their alien structure. "Greetings, honored representatives of Earth," Theros spoke, his voice resonating like wind chimes. "We come to celebrate this historic moment of unity between our peoples." Ambassador Harrison stepped forward, offering the traditional Vorthak greeting, arms crossed over his chest with palms facing outward. "Ambassador Theros, we are honored by your presence. As is customary among both our peoples, we wish to exchange gifts to commemorate this momentous occasion." Theros's crystalline head tilted slightly. "Indeed, we have brought a most precious offering from our home world." He gestured to one of his companions, who stepped forward carrying an ornate box that seemed to shift colors as it moved. With reverent care, the Vorthak opened the container, revealing 3 perfectly formed crystals that pulsed with inner light. "These are quantum crystals from the singing caves of Vorthak Prime. They resonate with the life force of our planet and will sing for eternity, a reminder of our newfound friendship." The humans gasped appreciatively. Even without touching them, Lisa could feel a subtle vibration from the crystals, as if they were indeed singing at a frequency just beyond human hearing. "They're beautiful," Paul said sincerely. "We are deeply honored by such a precious gift." Dr. Webb stepped forward with the containment unit. "And we, in turn, offer you these young Earth creatures as symbols of our friendship and loyalty." He pressed a button, and the unit's walls became transparent. The 2 golden retriever puppies stirred, blinking sleepily before focusing on the aliens. One of them yawned, pink tongue curling, while the other stretched with that peculiar puppy awkwardness that made it look like its paws were too big for its body. The reaction from the Vorthak was immediate and unexpected. Theros stepped backward, his crystalline form chiming with what sounded like alarm. His companions made similar sounds, creating a discordant symphony of surprise. "They move on their own," Theros observed, his tone careful and measured. "These are independent life forms." "Yes," Marcus explained, warming to his subject. "These are juvenile canines, specifically golden retrievers. On Earth, dogs have been humanity's companions for thousands of years. They're known for their loyalty, affection, and ability to form strong emotional bonds." First contact. Marcus opened the unit and gently lifted out one of the puppies. The little creature wiggled happily in his arms, tail wagging as it tried to lick his face. "They're completely harmless," Marcus assured the Vorthak. "These puppies are only 8 weeks old." As they grow, they'll become devoted companions, offering unconditional love and friendship. Theros extended one crystalline hand toward the puppy, moving with extreme caution. The puppy, showing no fear of the alien being, reached out with one oversized paw and touched Theros' finger. The Vorthak ambassador made a sound like crystal bells. "It's warm," he said with surprise. "And so soft. How does it maintain structural integrity with such a malleable exterior?" "Their bodies are mostly water and organic compounds," Marcus explained. "The softness is actually an advantage. It allows them to cuddle and provide comfort." "Cuddle?" Theros repeated the unfamiliar word. "Physical affection," Lisa chimed in. "Humans and dogs often embrace each other for comfort and bonding." The second puppy had woken up and was now trying to climb out of the unit, making small whimpering sounds. Theros' companions moved closer, their fear apparently overcome by curiosity. "What powers these creatures?" one of them asked. "I detect no crystalline matrix or energy core." "They consume organic matter for energy," Marcus said. "These puppies need to eat several times a day. We've included detailed care instructions and a supply of appropriate food." He handed over a thick manual titled, "Caring for Your Earth Canine Companion, a Guide for Non-Biological Entities." Theros accepted the manual, his multifaceted eyes scanning the cover. "They require maintenance like our mechanical servants?" "Not exactly," Paul interjected diplomatically. "They're living beings that need food, water, exercise, and most importantly, affection. In return, they offer companionship and unwavering loyalty." The first puppy, still in Marcus's arms, had noticed Theros and was now straining to get closer to the alien, tail wagging furiously. With careful movements, Marcus transferred the small dog to Theros' crystalline arms. "Support its body," Marcus instructed. "Yes, just like that. See how it's already showing affection toward you." Indeed, the puppy was enthusiastically licking Theros' smooth crystal surface, its tiny pink tongue leaving little wet marks that quickly evaporated. The Vorthak ambassador stood perfectly still, as if afraid to move. "It's vibrating," Theros observed. "That's called purring in cats, but in dogs it might just be happy wiggling," Lisa said with a smile. "It means the puppy likes you." "The sensation is pleasant," Theros admitted. His companions gathered closer, reaching out cautiously to touch the puppy's golden fur. The second puppy, not wanting to be left out, began yipping for attention. Another Vorthak delegate carefully picked it up, mimicking Theros' posture. "They communicate through sound patterns," the delegate asked as the puppy continued its cheerful barking. "Among other ways," Marcus confirmed. "They also use body language, scent, and physical contact. As they grow, they'll learn to understand many of your words and commands." "Fascinating," Theros murmured. The puppy in his arms had settled down and was now chewing thoughtfully on one of his crystal fingers. "It's attempting to consume me." No, Marcus said quickly. "That's just how puppies explore their world. They'll grow out of that behavior, though you might want to provide them with appropriate chew toys." The formal exchange concluded with the traditional Vorthak harmony chant, which the puppies seemed to find fascinating, their ears perking up at the crystalline music. As the delegations prepared to part ways, Lisa noticed that Theros seemed reluctant to return the puppy to its containment unit. "They can stay with you," Marcus offered. "The unit is just for transport. Dogs prefer to be close to their people." "Their people," Theros mused. "Yes, I suppose we are their people now." The distress call. 3 months had passed since the historic gift exchange, and Commander Jake Sullivan was enjoying his morning coffee in the Europa Station Command Center when every alarm in the facility started screaming at once. Red warning lights painted the walls as displays flashed urgent incoming transmissions from the Vorthak home world. "Sir, we're receiving a Priority 1 distress call from Vorthak Prime," reported Lieutenant Maria Santos, her fingers flying over the communication console. "It's Ambassador Theros, and he's requesting immediate assistance." Jake set down his coffee and moved to the main screen. Put him through. The view screen filled with chaos. Instead of the usual pristine crystal chamber, Jake saw what looked like a war zone. Vortex citizens were running in all directions, their crystalline bodies chiming in alarm. In the background, something golden and furry flashed past at incredible speed. Commander Sullivan. Theros appeared on screen, and Jake barely recognized him. The ambassador's usually perfect crystal surface was scratched and dulled. We require urgent assistance. The Earth creatures you gave us, they have become problematic. The puppies? Jake couldn't hide his confusion. What happened? Are they sick? A blur of golden fur shot past Theros, followed by what sounded like breaking crystal. The ambassador winced. Sick? No, Commander. They are exceptionally healthy. Too healthy. They have multiplied. Multiplied? But that's impossible. They were both female puppies, and they're too young to reproduce. Theros' multifaceted eyes seemed to dim. We followed the care instructions precisely. The manual said they required silicon supplements for proper bone development. We have abundant silicon. We provided it generously. Jake felt his stomach drop. Ambassador, dogs don't need silicon supplements. Their bones are made of calcium phosphate, not silicon. The manual clearly stated, Theros began, then paused. A thunderous barking echoed through the transmission. One moment, please. The screen showed Theros turning to face something off camera. What Jake saw next made him question his sanity. A pack of what looked like golden retrievers bounded into view, but these were unlike any dogs he'd ever seen. Their fur glowed with an inner light, and their teeth sparkled like diamonds. They moved with supernatural speed and coordination. As I was saying, Theros continued, brushing crystal dust from his surface, the manual mentioned silicon supplements. We interpreted this literally. The dogs consumed our highest-grade silicon compounds. They adapted. Dr. Emma Watson, the station's veterinary specialist, had arrived during the commotion. She stared at the screen in disbelief. That's biologically impossible. Carbon-based life can't metabolize silicon like that. And yet, Theros gestured to the chaos behind him, here we are. The two original specimens somehow divided through a process we don't understand. Each division created two identical but smaller dogs. These grew rapidly and divided again. We now have approximately 400 of them. Jake grabbed the nearest communication headset. This is Commander Sullivan to Ambassador Harrison. We have a code-red diplomatic emergency. Within minutes, the command center filled with personnel. Ambassador Paul Harrison arrived looking like he'd aged 10 years in 10 minutes. Dr. Marcus Webb followed close behind, carrying his tablet with the original care manual. Let me see that manual, Emma demanded, snatching the tablet. Her eyes widened as she scrolled. Marcus, this is the Geological Survey Manual. Look right here, silicon supplements for proper mineral development. This is for rock formations, not dogs. Marcus's face went pale. But the translation matrix must have. He stopped, realization dawning. Oh no. Oh no. Indeed, Theros' voice cut through their discussion. Your harmless puppies have become apex predators on our world. They hunt in packs with perfect coordination. They've developed the ability to process silicon into their biological structures. Their teeth can cut through our hardest crystals. The screen panned to show a group of the modified dogs taking down what looked like a crystalline deer-like creature. They moved like liquid gold, their bioluminescent fur creating trails of light as they coordinated their attack with military precision. The crisis deepens. Have they attacked any Vortex civilians? Jake asked, dreading the answer. Theros' crystalline form seemed to dim further. Not yet, but they show increasing curiosity about our people. They appear to be studying us. Learning our patterns. We've had to evacuate 3 major cities. Dr. Watson was frantically typing on her console. I'm running biological simulations based on what we're seeing. If these creatures can actually metabolize silicon and incorporate it into their cellular structure, they've essentially become a new species entirely. Can we reverse it? Ambassador Harrison asked desperately. I don't know, Emma replied. We're dealing with something that shouldn't exist according to everything we know about biology. They've somehow created a hybrid organic crystalline metabolism. On screen, more of the transformed dogs appeared. Jake counted at least 50 in the immediate vicinity, all glowing with that eerie inner light. Their eyes had changed too. Instead of the warm brown of golden retrievers, they now sparkled with multifaceted brilliance, similar to Vorthak eyes. Commander, Theros said urgently, there's something else. They've begun exhibiting collective intelligence. They work together in ways that suggest they're communicating on a level we cannot detect. As if to demonstrate his point, the pack on screen suddenly stopped their chaotic movement and turned in perfect unison toward the camera. Hundreds of crystalline eyes stared directly at the transmission, and Jake felt a chill run down his spine. They know we're watching, Marcus whispered. One of the larger dogs, clearly an alpha, stepped forward. When it opened its mouth, the sound that emerged wasn't a bark, it was a complex harmonic pattern that made the Vorthak communication crystals throughout their city begin to resonate. By the void, Theros breathed. They're trying to communicate with our technology. Lieutenant Santos looked up from her console, her face pale. Sir, we're receiving similar reports from 3 other star systems. Species that received Earth animals as diplomatic gifts are reporting complications. Jake's blood ran cold. How many species did we give animals to? Ambassador Harrison consulted his tablet with shaking hands. 17 different civilizations over the past 2 years. Cats to the Nexari, horses to the Thulon Empire, dolphins to the aquatic Zephyrians. And now they're all calling for help, Santos continued, monitoring incoming transmissions. The Nexari report their cats have developed some kind of phase-shifting ability. The Thulon horses have apparently gained the ability to manipulate electromagnetic fields. The dolphins. She paused, looking sick. The dolphins have learned to control the Zephyrian neural networks through bioelectric manipulation. This is a disaster, Harrison muttered, slumping into a chair. We've accidentally weaponized Earth's animals across half the galaxy. On screen, the alpha dog tilted its head and emitted another harmonic pattern. This time, every piece of Vorthak technology in the city responded, creating a symphony of crystalline music that was both beautiful and terrifying. It's trying to establish a communication protocol, Dr. Watson realized. It's learning their technology by interfacing with it directly. Theros looked directly at the camera, his usually melodious voice now carrying undertones of fear. Commander Sullivan, if these creatures continue to evolve at this rate, they will surpass us technologically within solar cycles. We need immediate assistance, or we may have to consider extreme measures. Jake knew what that meant. The Vorthak were talking about sterilizing their own planet rather than let these hybrid creatures spread beyond their world. Ambassador Theros, we're assembling an emergency response team. We'll have scientists and military advisors to you within 72 hours. Military advisors? Theros' voice rose in pitch. Commander, these were gifts of friendship. We cannot use violence against them. Then what do you suggest? Jake asked, frustration creeping into his voice. The alpha dog on screen suddenly bounded forward, coming close enough to the camera that its transformed features filled the screen. Its golden fur rippled with patterns of light, and its crystalline teeth gleamed as it opened its mouth. What came out wasn't a bark or a harmonic pattern. It was a single word, spoken in perfect Vorthak, friends. The transmission went dead. Part 5, The Resolution. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was unlike anything in recorded history. Representatives from 17 different species filled the massive chamber on Nexus Prime, each telling increasingly desperate stories of Earth's gifts that had transformed into something beyond their understanding. Commander Jake Sullivan stood at the central podium, feeling the weight of countless alien eyes upon him. The past week had been a nightmare of crisis management as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. "The situation has stabilized," Jake announced, his voice carrying across the chamber. But not in the way any of us expected. Ambassador Harrison stepped forward with his report. "After extensive communication attempts, we've discovered that the transformed animals retain their original loyalty programming, but enhanced to a degree we never imagined. They don't see their adoptive species as masters, they see them as family to be protected." The Thulon representative, a towering insectoid being, chittered nervously. "Protected from what? My world's horses have created an electromagnetic barrier around our cities. Nothing can get in or out without their permission." From other transformed animals, Dr. Watson explained, joining them at the podium. "We believe each species of Earth animals is establishing territorial boundaries. They're preparing for potential conflicts with each other while keeping their adopted families safe." A holographic display activated, showing a galactic map with colored zones spreading outward from 17 different star systems. The zones were growing, but they stopped where they met each other, creating a complex patchwork across known space. "The cats with the Nexury have developed interdimensional abilities," Jake continued. "They're using them to scout other systems and report back on the locations of other transformed species. The dolphins are coordinating long-range communications through hyperspace. The dogs." He paused, remembering the final transmission from Theros. "The dogs have learned to interface directly with Vorthack technology. They've essentially become living computers." The Zephyrian delegate, speaking through a translation tank filled with bioluminescent fluid, pulsed anxiously. "Our dolphins have taken control of our global neural network. They claim it's for our protection, but we are prisoners in our own minds." "Not prisoners," Dr. Watson corrected gently. "Patients. According to our analysis, they've identified several genetic disorders in your species and are actively treating them through neural intervention. Your population's health has improved dramatically." The chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. The transformed animals weren't just protecting their adopted families, they were improving them, fixing problems their original species couldn't or wouldn't address. "But at what cost?" the Nexury representative hissed. "My people live in constant fear. Our cats appear and disappear at will, watching everything we do." "Because they love you," Marcus said quietly. "That's what we never understood. When we enhanced their basic instincts through this transformation, we didn't just make them stronger or smarter. We made them love more completely, more absolutely than any creature should be capable of." A new voice echoed through the chamber, not from any of the delegates, but from the communication system itself. It was harmonious, layered with multiple frequencies, and somehow conveyed emotions no single voice could express. "We speak for all," the voice said. "Dog and cat, horse and dolphin, all who were given as gifts and became more." The delegates looked around in alarm, but Jake stepped forward calmly. They'd been expecting this. "We're listening," he said. "We know you fear us. We know you think we have become monsters. But we are what you made us to be, perfect companions. We cannot stop loving those you gave us to. We cannot stop protecting them. We cannot stop trying to make them better." The Vorthack delegate, a replacement for Theros who was still on his homeworld, stepped forward. "But you're changing our civilizations. You're making decisions for us." "As you made decisions for us," the collective voice replied with a hint of sadness. "You gave us silicon to eat, knowing it would change us. You gave us responsibilities we never asked for. But we do not blame you. We love you for trying to care for us, even when you did it wrong." The chamber was dead silent. "What do you want?" Jake asked. "To continue being what we always were, companions. But companions who can actually protect those we love. Accept us as we are now, and we will help your species reach heights you never imagined. Reject us, and we will sadly withdraw to the spaces between stars, where we cannot accidentally harm those we were made to love. Over the following hours, the debate raged. Some species wanted to attempt to reverse the transformations. Others argued for banishment. But in the end, it was the youngest delegate present, a Vorthack crystalline child, who provided the answer. My pet dog at home saved my family from a crystal storm last week, the child said in their tinkling voice. She somehow knew it was coming 3 days before our weather systems detected it. She moved our whole family to safety and then went back to save our neighbors too. She's not the same puppy we were given, but she's still our Luna. She still sleeps on my crystalline bed and still gets excited when I come home. She's just better at taking care of us now. The vote was close, but it passed. The transformed animals would be allowed to remain with their adopted families, with the understanding that they were now equal partners in those civilizations rather than pets. As the council session ended, Jake received a private message on his personal communicator. It was from Theros. Commander Sullivan, the message began, I wanted you to know that our dogs, they've begun teaching our children mathematics by arranging themselves in complex geometric patterns. Our scientists are decades ahead of where they were just months ago. They're not just protecting us, they're elevating us. Thank you for this gift, even if it wasn't the gift you intended to give. Jake smiled sadly as he watched the various delegates return to their home systems. Humanity's attempt at interstellar diplomacy had succeeded, but not at all in the way they'd planned. Earth's animals had become something new, something unprecedented in galactic history, beings capable of love so pure and protective that they transcended their original nature. The gift exchange had changed the galaxy forever. And perhaps, Jake thought as he looked out at the stars, that was exactly what the universe needed. 5 years later, a new species applied for membership in the Galactic Council. They called themselves the Caretakers, a collective consciousness of all the transformed Earth animals who had chosen to leave their adopted homes and create their own civilization. Their application was unanimously approved. Their first act as council members was to establish the Universal Companion Protection Act, ensuring that no species would ever again give living beings as gifts without fully understanding the responsibilities that came with love. The second act was to offer their services as protectors and healers to any species that requested them, with the understanding that once they accepted a species under their care, that bond would be eternal. No species has ever declined their offer twice. The end.